yes. So I'm sure, I mean, I know that there's a lot of experts here, but the ports, easily you can classify it, let's say, two types: the rubies and the tawnies, just to make it simple. The most interesting thing is that the wine starts as one. It is born as a ruby deep red wine, okay? It's just the way that it's aged. That's the only difference that distinguishes the port from the ruby port from a tawny port, okay? This is to be as easy as possible. We then have the big difference is if it is bottle aged or wood aged, okay? You have the bottle aged, which are the vintage ports, you probably know, and there are some others, but the main one is vintage port. So it's a port wine in basic terms is made now, September. We're in full harvest now. It then spends, so the grapes are picked during the day at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the old times. We still do it in Vesuvio, but at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock you have 40, 50 people inside of a lagar, so it's a big open, I don't know, lagar if it is, how do you say it in German, but it's an open tank, let's say, where you have people trading for about 3 to 4 hours, and for that night. Fermentation starts, and then another, on the day after you do again a little bit of trading, but in basic terms, the wine only ferments 48 hours, okay? So that's why port wine is sweet, because not all the sugars have transformed into alcohol. Then it is fortified, so we stop the fermentation by adding brandy, grape brandy. So like this color, without any color or odor, 77% alcohol. So 20% of the volume is brandy, okay? And then the wine spends the winter indoor, only the winter. Why? Because it's very cold for Portugal, okay? But it's cold, and it acts like a natural filter, let's say. And then on about March, April, May, the wine is brought down from the Douro, from the here to Porto. So all the wine ages in Porto. Why? Because summers are quite hot, 45, 47 degrees easily. And in Porto it's 25, this year was awful, it was even less. So it spends the summer there, another winter, and only on the second year you decide what to do with port, okay? So only on the second year. So if we have to decide on port, 2018, the port from 2018 will only be made in 2020, okay? Only in 2020 you decide what you do with port. And it's on that decision that, so the wine was born as one, it's when you decide, okay, let me put it on a bottle. If I put it on a bottle straight away, without filtering, it's the vintage port. If I leave it for another, we store it in Gaia, we store it in big tanks, in vats of 60,000 liters, so big ones, wood ones normally. So, but if you put it on a bottle without being filtered, it will mature in the bottle. That's what we call, let's say, the bottle aged. So normally the vintage ports. If you leave it in those vats for another 2 years or 4 years, it's what we call lay and then you bottle. It's what you call, it's a familiar name, late bottled vintage. So it's wine, okay? Normally nowadays these wines are slightly filtered, so it's easy to, you don't need to decant, it's for easy pouring. And then you have the wine that was actually put in small casks, 550 liter casks, what we call in Portuguese pipas, and it's the wine that aged in the casks. And why does the wine age differently? Just because of the amount of air that got in contact with the wine. So in the bottle, only through the cork, 0, almost. In the vats, 60,000 liters, I mean, there's some air going through, but there's a lot of liquid. In the casks, it's only 550 liters with wood that it's extremely porous, and the air goes in and it oxidizes the wine. So, bottle aged preserves much better the fruit, the color, the aroma, is all of it. The, let's say, late bottle vintage, it's already an evolution, a slightly more evoluted wine, let's say. And the tawnies, that's what we have here. So, oxidized wines, normally, you lose the color, and then obviously, if it spends 10 years is one thing, if it spends 40 years is another, if it spends 150 years is another, okay? And so today, the concept that, it's a bit of a fun tasting. We're going to taste 10, 20, 30, 40, just to see the difference of evolution. What does it mean, wine with 10 to 10, 30 and 40? And then in the end, after your head got the recognition of what the wine is, we're going to make our own blend, okay? And I'm going to explain these wines.
Minimum 10 years, or is there like a 5-year tawny as well?
So these wines, what we have here, the first 4 wines that we have are 10, 20, 30, 40. They are blended wines. So they are wines that, it doesn't mean that the wine is 10 years old. It's a wine that is made with more than one wine, normally. So you can have wines younger or older. So you can have, on the 10 years old, you can have a wine with 7 or with 15 years old. On the 20 years old, we have, I'm not going to say because it's going to be the exercise. On the 30 you have older and younger. The only exception is the 40 years old. Because the 40 years old, all the wines inside of the 40 years old are older than 40 years old. There's no other wines after. There's not a 50-year-old or 60-year-old. That's it. There's only 10, 20, 30, 40, okay? And so what you have different also is that these wines are made with 2, 3, 4, 5 components, 5 different wines. And these wines that are the component wines are what we call single harvest, or in Portuguese, colheita, which is a wine from one single year, okay? So what you have in the A, B, and C bottles are 3 wines from single years that together will make the 20-year-old, okay? I'm not sure if that was clear.
Yeah.
Maybe you can...
Seid ihr mitgekommen? Ja? Also,
yeah.
I think they're fine, yeah.
But